Some of you have been really concerned with the instruments I own. In order to answer these questions, I decided to make a video of an instrument tour. Stop asking how many instruments I own. I would also like to take this chance to count the number of instruments I have and then look at myself on the scale of 1 to 10 how crazy I am. Then I will decide if I should stop collecting instruments. Right now, I have stuff at 2 different places. Some are at home and some are here, in my office. I've been running around 2 different places, which is why you see some of the filming done here and some of the filming done at another place. I'm going to show you all my collections and then you'll decide for me whether I'm considered normal. I would like to make a disclaimer, which is you don't need a lot of gear or instruments to make music. But before we start this video, you got to press like or subscribe. If not, I'm going to start performing a triangle solo. Since I'm already sitting here, I'm going to start with this one. So this is called the Yamaha DTX502. It is a very nice electronic drums, but actually, this belonged to my husband and not me. We purchased this drum together at the point of time where we were not together. Never know that one day this drum will be mine. I was a Yamaha employee at the time, which is why he asked me to follow him to purchase the drums, and then I managed to get some employee staff discount for him. This electric guitar is also not mine. It also belongs to my husband. Next, it is this keyboard. So this keyboard is pretty new. I purchased it on my own. It was the cheapest model. It cost about SGD 199, which is why I chose this. But I didn't just choose this without thinking. I wanted a keyboard which have touch sense. And for other brands, let's say like Casio, if you want some with touch sense, right, it costs at least like $300. And some of the keys are very plasticky, even though it mimic the piano type of keys, but the feel is very plastic. I don't know how to describe. Behind my keyboard, there is this bass amp. Oh, my notebook is here. I found it. I didn't know where it was. Now I found it. So this bass amp, I bought it from a friend at $50 because she don't want it anymore. And next is these 2 Yamaha speakers. I can't remember the name. But recently I just went to fix it because the tweeter, it's called the tweeter is spoiled. So now that it's fixed, I have a speakers again. Next, you're gonna see this infamous violin Chan that has appeared in my channel a lot of times. I don't think there's a need to introduce her anymore. Moving on, there's a random shaker here. And I also have this flute over here, which belongs to my sister. I cannot play flute, as you can see. This bass over here, I have stopped playing it because it's not very playable anymore. The next instrument I own is probably the one that is most sentimental to me. It's one of the first instrument I own, which is... I had it for 20 years. And until now, it gets out of tune from time to time. It is not very easy to play on, but I just can't throw it away. So this is the sound of the guzheng. It's actually the first instrument that I've ever learned for my whole life. It's the start of my musical journey, which is why it's also so sentimental to me. And, I began playing guzheng because my dad loves the sound of guzheng. And back then, I have no idea that I would enjoy so much. This is also the instrument that my dad requested me to play before he passed away, which is why until now I still bring it out and play. Okay, because this video is not about guzheng only, so I'm just gonna move on to the next gear, which is my basking amp, the Roland Cube E Street EX. Roland Cube lah, okay? This Roland Cube EX Street, or whatever, Roland Cube, okay, is bought by myself. Stop assuming that everything is given to me, ah. I bought this myself at, I think it was 699 SGD. It was one of my best investments. It kickstarted my basking career and made me believe that I can sing, which brings me to where am I today. I believe that's all for all the instruments I own in this office, except for the recorder that I cannot find. So we will move on to the second place. Woo! Now we are at the second stop, which is my home. And the first instrument that I'd like to show you is right. Hi! So yes, you see a lot of instruments here. It is actually for you to change the sound. So let's say you can choose strings for the top. Maybe the bottom you want a piano sound, and you can go ahead and change into piano sound. There's one more layer which is here. This is where the bass goes. The tempo is at 120. Let's rock and roll! I've hardly touched the Electone these days. I only use it to steal the sounds to use for my arrangement. Next, we have this acoustic guitar, which I bought it myself. I bought this because I want to bass. When I look for the guitar, my number one criteria is that it needs to be lightweight. This is not my first acoustic guitar. It's my third acoustic guitar. My first acoustic guitar belongs to my father, which he bought in Malaysia for about $32, though it sounds a little bit like just a piece of wood. The second acoustic guitar, I also bought it for basking purpose. It is 3/4 size, 3/4 size because I need it to be lightweight. Now for this third acoustic guitar, I actually spent some money to do a nice setup and also pickup. I feel that this is super important. Yeah? If you want to have a guitar that you can play comfortably, if the action is very high, you will find that it's very hard and straining for you to press the fret. And as for the pickup, why is it important? Because when you are performing, most likely you will not be using a mic up, but you will be using a plug-in. That's why pickup is very important, because it will determine how the audience hear you. And now you have this bass, which I bought it on my own as well. So most of the instruments that I bought it on my own are quite recent. This is less than 3 years old, or maybe almost 3 years old. Again, I bought this because it is lightweight. So lightweight is actually a very important criteria for me, because if you perform for long hours, you will understand. Of course, short scale is also easier to play. People always think that there's a compensation for a short scale bass, but this sounds pretty good too. I think it's good enough if I want to record my own covers. I paste stickers over here because until right now, I still can't remember where are the notes on my frets. This is called the pianica. It is also a gift from my friends during my birthday. I have played it on some of my covers, which you may have noticed. I don't need to explain how it works because you have already seen it before. And now for all the other small instruments that you have seen it from time to time. Ta-da! These are the small percussive instruments that I got from Shopee. Tambourine. Whatever is this called. If there's anyone who knows the exact names of all these instruments, please leave a comment. Imagine if you're in an orchestra and you have to count like 300 rest bars just to play this. This shaker, another shaker, and one more shaker. Oh, this is loud. This one, I think I know the name. It's called start with a C or something. Yeah. All these are not very loud because I think it's good that they are like toys. One more shaker. And the last. This is a leg tambourine. That's all for all the percussion instruments. So I hope this answers all your questions about how many instruments I have. Again, disclaimer, you do not need to own a lot of instruments to be able to make music. I'm just fortunate that I received a lot of gifts from my friends, and also I love exploring different sounds, which is why I own so many of them. So after answering all your questions, won't you give me a like or a subscribe before I start playing a triangle solo?